It says I'm live. Hi there, and welcome to this. Oh, let's see. I should wait till really 8 o'clock. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. All righty, here we go. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for February 3rd. February 3rd is the 34th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 331 days remaining to the end of the year, 332 if it happens to be a leap year. Today's word is harbinger. Harbinger is a noun that means something that foreshadows a future event, a sign. This comes to us from Middle English, Old French before that. It originally referred to someone who rode ahead to arrange lodgings. Later on, it came to mean host or hospitable person. Harbinger, in its current form and meaning, entered English in the second half of the 12th century, probably about the time of our first story. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes. I ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And remember that you can share this video with others with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. Also, there is a link in the show notes to my This Day in History playlist, and I'll put a link up in the iCards there also. Let's see what else. All righty, yeah, that'll happen after the live when we go to replay. And with that, I'll start by saying that in centuries past, it wasn't unusual for, say, a ranking royal from this kingdom to marry a ranking royal from that kingdom in order to mutually benefit both kingdoms. And that is what happened on February 3rd in the year 1112, when Ramon Berenguer III, the Count of Barcelona, married Deuce I, the Countess of Provence, uniting the fortunes of the two states. She also went by the name of Dulce, sweet. On February 3rd, 1488, wait a minute, this is February 3rd. Somewhere I forgot to mention happy birthday to Mike. Maybe that comes later. I write everything down. Okay, back in the flow here. On February 3rd, 1488, Bartolomeu Diaz of Portugal landed in Mosul Bay after rounding the Cape of Good Hope, becoming the first known European to go so far south. And I have a map for that. Here's a map of Africa. Here's the Cape of Good Hope. So he will have come from Europe. He will have come around this way and right down there where that little dot is, that's where Mosul Bay is. All the way back in 1488. Now, in the 1600s, there was an economist named Nicholas Barbon, B-A-R-B-O-N, Barbon, and he wrote that money was an imaginary value made by law for the convenience of exchange. That kind of makes sense. Now, I don't know if Sir William Phips, governor of the province of Massachusetts, was aware of that quote or not, but he, Phips, sought to enact an experiment of banknote issue to help fund the war effort in France, or against France, help fund the war effort against France on February 3rd, 1690, when the colony of Massachusetts issued the first paper money in the Americas. Many battles on this day throughout history. These forces defeat those forces seize that land, military coups. Oh boy, what a contentious lot we humans are. I tell you what, let's consciously practice being nice to each other, okay? This This is the birthday of Samuel Osgood, born February 3rd, 1747. He was the first United States Postmaster General under the current Constitution. And we have that caveat under the current Constitution because technically there were 3 others before the Constitution was written. So if you count it that way, he would be the 4th. After being the Postmaster General, he went on to become a bank president and lived to the age of 66. The territory of Illinois was created by the 10th United States Congress on February 3rd, 1809. This is the birthday of Horace Greeley, born February 3rd, 1811. He was a journalist and politician. He urged the settlement of the American West, popularized the phrase, "Go west, young man," which you have probably heard, but there's actually more to that. The full statement is, "Go west, young man, and grow up with the country." Horace Greeley lived to the age of 61. This is the birthday of a German engineer, and his last name is spelled Junkers, which we would pronounce Junkers, but I'm wondering if maybe the Germans would pronounce it Junkers. You can let me know in the comment section if you happen to know that. Misty, would you ask Dirk, please? But his name was Hugo, and I'm going to say it the way it is pronounced in American, Hugo Junkers, born February 3rd, 1859, and he developed a plane known as the Junkers J-1, which was an experimental monoplane that happened to be the world's first all-metal aircraft, coming from a time when planes had been framed out of wood and covered with canvas. Interestingly, he died on his birthday in 1934 when he was 76. The 15th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified on February 3rd, 1870. This is the one that guarantees voting rights to male citizens regardless of race. The outlaw Belle Starr was murdered by an unknown assailant on February 3rd, 1889. And there's certainly more about this. I talk about Belle Starr in another video, and I'll put that up in the iCards there. What's our timestamp here? So I'll know where to look for it. Alrighty, 7:46. Okay, so I'll pop that link up in the iCards, and you can go watch that once this one's done. This is the birthday of the great American illustrator Norman Rockwell, born February 3rd, 1894. A prolific artist, he produced more than 4,000 works in his lifetime. He illustrated books, painted portraits of public figures. He did Boy Scout calendars, magazine covers, and more. Norman Rockwell lived to the age of 84. This is the birthday of a fella come to be known as Pretty Boy Floyd, born February 3rd, 1904. He was a bank robber, as you probably know. He was just bad enough that the laws were after him pretty big way. And he was killed in an ambush in 1934 when he was only 30 years old. One of the things that Pretty Boy Floyd did that kind of got him a little popularity with the general populace is that when he would go into a bank to rob it, he would burn the mortgages so that they didn't have any record of the mortgages. And I'm sure there's a story behind that. On February 3rd, 1913, the 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified. This is the one that authorizes the federal government to impose and collect income tax. 28th President Woodrow Wilson died on February 3rd, 1924, when he was 67. And this is the day the music died. When on February 3rd, 1959, rock and roll musicians Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P., the Big Bopper, Richardson died in a plane crash near Clear Lake, Iowa. On February 3rd, 1971, New York police officer Frank Serpico was shot during a drug bust in Brooklyn. He survived and later testified against police corruption. Pretty interesting character, Frank Serpico. February 3rd, 1972 was the first day of a 7-day blizzard in 1970. They call it the 1972 Iran blizzard. Yikes, thousands of people died in that blizzard, making it the deadliest snowstorm in history. And that's all I have for you today. Hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes, and I'll add a link for last year's episode right up there in the iCards. Let's see what else. Yeah, playlist that contains these videos in the show notes. A link directly to the playlist on YouTube and also to my blog where I post all of them. And happy birthday, Mike, my firstborn. I'm not going to tell the whole world how old he is, though. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video, this channel with others. And let's see what else. What else do I need to say? Okay. Alrighty, well, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now we go look for the thank you very much button, and thank you very much.